The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everybody, welcome to the weekly Noyantis Usergroup. Today is 17th of February. Myself and John are your hosts. Sorry for the delayed start. Sorry. So I know we've got a question pending this week because it's from Marty, because it was a question left from last week. So we're going to go on to that. But as always, if anybody else has any questions or queries, feel free to raise your hand. We'll get the mics open and we'll cover them accordingly. So I will open the question box just to see if any do come in. Obviously, there's none there yet. No updates to report. Testing still going on the products. Looking at the schedule for this week, where are we? And yes, there's two sets of updates to actually be scheduled to work on: report control and docking pane. So I will report back next week, and hopefully you'll have something. You'll have something new. Okay, Marty, are you there? Shall I open the mic and we can have a look at your question challenge, if you will, from last week?
Hi, Andy. Can you hear me okay?
I can, yes. How are you doing?
Great. So this is wonderful to circle back on this question. I'm glad we can do it. I think that what you had mentioned about how you had adapted it was in fact exactly the kind of thing I was envisioning.
Okay.
But you've taken it a step beyond. No surprise. So the idea of opening up a date picker for a quarter or a year and being able to immediately see that some of those dates have activity of a particular sort just by the visual indicator, that seems so useful that it's apparent that you had even taken it beyond, and it just seems like the kind of thing that would be useful for all kinds of applications.
Yeah.
So obviously the question really isn't, is it possible? It's really more, what is the best way to pursue it, considering that apparently CodeJock has some things that it's easier to and more optimal to piggyback on a function that's already there than to reinterrogate. I think that's what the conversation we were having last time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we displayed. Sorry, 1 second. Bad timing for a cough then. We displayed these different statuses, if you will, for the days, depending on if you remember from last week regarding if they needed to retransmit data and so on and so forth to show activity, outstanding activity, if you will. So we would look at the table for that. We'd just have basically a status table for the days. And if you had a record, we'd interrogate that. And if we didn't have a record, there was no activity on that particular day. Say, for example, a Sunday and the dental practice was closed, then there would be nothing to transmit for a Sunday.
Right.
If you was linking this to a calendar, we won't do it in this unless we get time today. But if you was doing this on a calendar, then I wouldn't go to the database for the records. I would actually go to, because it was about the prime. Yes, sorry, we were looking at the prime, the bolding as well on yours. So there's a couple of examples. But yes, if I was getting the raw data from the calendar, one thing which a lot of people do forget about in the calendar is there is a method called find events. It's not in the calendar technically. That's not quite true, but it's one of our methods. We make use of some of the calendar's functions. And what I'd say there is the calendar itself is a glorious tool. Visually, usability, everything. It's a glorious tool. But it also is great for actually storing a wealth of data. So you load your events, and you've got any number of optional variables you can store against each event and so on and so forth. And then on top of that, what you can do is actually take the records out of the calendar. So there's a method called find events, and I would recommend people always use that. It can only see the events that are currently loaded. So the clue is if you're processing, let's say, a quarter, load the data for a quarter, that kind of thing.
Right.
But then there's no data I/O to your tables or your database or anything, because you're only ever talking to what's already in the calendar. So the speed is the fastest you're going to get. Plus, if you're using recurring events, it's the only true way to get the live occurrences of those recurring events. So that will take into effect any recurring pattern, any exceptions to that pattern, so on and so forth. So the find events method is actually the only real true way of getting the true data out of the calendar, and so on. We digress a little, but it might be a scenario where in the future you do actually want to use that find events. We only really want to find them for a particular date range, and we can specify particular filters to it. Might be that we actually want to enhance that filter to say only ever find me the first event of each day, and if it is, we'll do our own bolding, that kind of thing. So there's other ways we can enhance that as well. Point being is we've already got a good chunk of it already done within the class. So what should we start with first? Shall we create, well, I might as well update the calendar example application. Shall we update that in such a manner that we can actually ship you an example at the end of this, where we could have different status, maybe a table with a date, different statuses, and we'll just have a browse on that with a date picker reflecting the activity, what's going on in that browse.
Well, this sounds good to me.
Would that help
I
yourself?
think especially, well, I think it would certainly help me out. I think it probably would provide an illustration to other people about the power of the calendar, which I know for sure I barely tap. And I'm sure we could all benefit by illustrations that would indicate that it could do much more for us.
Okay. Sorry, I just got a text. I thought to think, right. Let's do that then. And it's going to be fun. We're going to go back to Clarion 8 because the examples. Actually, I think the examples are still in Clarion 6, but we'll have the latest examples in Clarion 8. Even that's going to be a bit hard to take, I'll be honest. But let's do that anyway. So let's make sure the classes are up to date. So that might sync. Make sure that did sync to the base. Right, very good. Okay, that's going to be our master. We do have another question coming via email actually towards the end of this webinar, and it's to do with the skin framework and legacy. So we will, for the purpose of the recording, the people aren't here, but the recording might come in handy to them. For the purpose of that, we will cover that afterwards as well. Wow, Clarion 8 looks dated now, doesn't it? But as I say, we do this so we can at least ship the examples out to, for people who are still on the old versions. We got asked.
You are accommodating.
We got asked not last week, the week before, if we could add backwards compatibility for legacy C55.
Wow.
Now we've technically, I think the products will still work within C55, but it's not something I actively want to go promoting for obvious reasons. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my toggle. Don't know if anyone uses the toggle. I forgot to start my timer. I toggle my time so I don't know where I'm wasting my time, so to speak. So we're going to compile this. Right, that's brilliant. That's Clarion 8. Get a compile. We'll just quickly put a new table, a status table, if you will, in the dictionary will knock up a very rough browse before it goes out publicly. I will, polish it up, so on and so forth. But for the purposes of today, we'll just have a quick browse that we can use. Okay, yeah, we have a calendar. There you go. Oh, actually, 18.6. I think we can do better than that. Just going to reopen that app. I think I've changed that to 4.11. I thought I'd done a newer version of the Clarion. Yeah, 4.13a. That's it, the template. Clarion template doesn't reflect the first time you open. Okay, 19.1. We'll use that particular theme. And just another tip for people, the following. I've just changed the Clarion version there. So the golden rule is always bring in your themes. So I'm going to go into the samples. I was in 19.1 there. Go into your samples, styles, and bring in your theme files from that particular version. Always try and tie them in. So when this gets released, it will go out with to use 19.1 by default. So it should have the correct theme files from 19.1 build.
That's a handy tip.
I don't think it'll bite you too much now, although it's very good practice, obviously. But I know when they first changed how the themes loaded, which was the early version 18s, when they switched from like 16.4 all the way up to, we won't count 17, but from 18s onwards, then if you did have an incorrect version, just for the first 2 or 3 versions, you could actually GPF your application purely because of the theme files. So from ever since then, I've always kept the 2 in sync. And it does kind of make sense because that's what they've been released with and tested with.
Right.
Okay, let's give ourselves a new dictionary. Not a new dictionary, a new table. So we've got events. We will have, it's going to be very crude, but yeah, we will have a day status. Oh, no, be top speed. It will support SQL, of course, but not for today's example, we won't. I suppose it's very easy. It's just going to be a date. It goes against. Actually, I never do that. I'll give it a day status ID of an auto incrementing key, so we've always got it. So we will have a date. For our example, do you any particular statuses do you have? Well, you can think for this example. I mean, I can think of
I would say use whatever is most familiar to you.
Yeah.
We'll all improvise.
Okay. So yeah, so we will have. I'll start with the byte. What we need here. So I'll have none.
Non-pending, accepted, all those kinds of things.
That's exactly. So just trying to think for our colours. We'll have a pending, that can be red.
No, you can use stoplights, yellow, green, red, whatever.
Yeah, I was thinking red, amber, green, and none for thingy. So
Right.
Amber, it can be pending, failed, can be rejected. Could be 2. Oh, actually, it could do there. That'll do. People will get the idea from that. Okay. And I'll be an option. I'll be done the naming convention in the others key. Should really, it's old naming convention to be fair, but we should really do it.
Isn't that the problem when you have dictionaries you've used a long time and you can look back and see it's almost like geological core sampling. You see,
Yeah.
right? I mean, when I look back, I go, okay, wow, I can't believe I used to do that. But the dictionary is still in use, so there's like 3 different conventions of naming, you know.
Mm. Well, I'll always keep a project on the same naming convention, but no, primarily all our solutions now are SQL based, and even if they're very rare, it's probably something we've actually inherited or something. Although I'll keep the same naming conventions, hence what I'm doing here. But I'll normally go with the SQL naming conventions for the PK and the IX and so on and so forth for the those,
Right,
those kind of
PKFK.
things.
So yeah.
But that will do. So we're going to have just a single date. It's not the biggest of tables, as we can see. Yeah, I think that's really it. It's really not the biggest of. Auto number for that and a date. Fine. That's not really our objective for today. So okay, we shall put it on the date picker because that's a good one to put on there. And look at that, I'm even going to spell the colours for yourself.
Oh, you can tell that it was an American example, huh?
Do you know, I spend most of my typing now in American, and people in the office here will be like, really, initialization with a Z or a Z.
You can't win.
There should be a date picker. Yeah, I thought it would be date picker, date status. Okay, that'll do for now. I'll rearrange those before it goes out. There's a couple of other enhancements in progress for the calendar. The lookups should really have some extra navigation options on there and so on for usability. So yeah, they're in progress.
When are you targeting that release?
Could be this week.
Ah,
Yeah, because it needs to go into a particular project I'm working on. So just quickly digress, put that lookup. That's great, but there should be extra navigations. It should be let you quickly jump a year, a month. Of course, we can do a month
actually,
there.
that's a very good point. Yep.
Yeah, it's a glaring omission. I will keep it backwards compatible. I'll put it on a switch, but I think everybody will want that switch to be turned on, so you've got the extra controls.
You are absolutely right.
So, but yeah, it's the scheduler application we're using. You go to put a date of birth in, and via that, how do I get back to 1972? And
Yes.
So it's a glaring omission. So yeah, so that project
It's
needs.
amazing we have tolerated it for so long, Andy.
Well, it goes through testing here, and they don't pass my work. So even though I can threaten to fire them, they still won't pass the work, which is good. It's exactly what I want. So no, I need it to go in there. Okay, that's a bit of a heavy example. In fact, do you know what? We'll just start a fresh one. Window. can turn that off. I don't think we use that anymore. System. We'll just have a quick look at what we use. Oh, we use that kind of style, do we? No, we do use grey. Yeah, that's ugly. Right, okay. MS Sans Serif. Now I'm going to have to go through this example before it goes out. Definitely. Okay, we want to browse. So I'll put this down at the bottom so people can see what we are doing. And of course that will allow us to actually put some data in. Definitely not going to be the biggest, this is it? A little naming convention. I always have my list, my queue, and the browse based on the table name. So then anywhere in my code, I can just know exactly what I'm working with. And in there, take longer to put the example together than it will the actual code, but that's fine. Browse update buttons. Oh, that was actually, yeah. Thinking of my update buttons around the other one. Right, they can be tidied up afterwards. Last but not least, we want our date picker. Something like so. It's not linked to a calendar. Highlight today, that's fine. Office types around. We'll have a standard class name. I'm just gonna, I never use this, but let's just wizard one up and I'll do it. I will tidy it up before it goes out. Struth. Did I just do that? Where are we up to so far? Let's take a look at this. Oh, I think that withered up the update, and that hasn't worked actually correctly. Right, that's easy enough. Just get rid. think I put the update, the other one on, did I? Okay, update base status. We need a cancel button. We'll need a something like so. You get the idea. It's not what we're in here for. How do we have these look? Might as well put it a bit right with a tab. Right, okay. So it, don't actually look too bad of the form. A lot better than the generator one a second ago. Right. That's still got a problem? And what we should do, seeing as it's one of our examples, we should put a lookup on there. Okay. Oh, Do we bother putting the MDI on these? No. Didn't think so when I selected the MDI before. You could do it, it's just I hadn't done on the other, so that's why I kind of went behind.
Consistency.
Yep. Okay. Put one in for today. Oh, they need setting, but we'll have that's a pending. And I'll put one in for 2 days ago. No, Friday. No, that is a rejected. So we've got and then we set no local. Ah, yeah, we do need to do that. We'll better make sure we've got that hot fielded in then in a second. No, we will. I was going to say we could use an execute. We really use equates here, but it's only an example. Okay. Corian's typical. I'll just throw one finger. Put them to the left, then give it a close button. Do that afterwards, but going to need it. The width. Back in Clarion 8, there was always that funny where it would actually forget the width unless you went down here. Yeah, just done it exactly again. Unbelievable. That'll do. Right, that gets us finally, hopefully working from a setup point of view, a working system to get some data in. Yeah, brilliant. So, it's really what we want to do now. Do we want to just take the data that's loaded in this and show them in here? No, I suppose actually it's just the date range of this, the loading range of there, and have a look within that queue. We could do that. We could do it that way as well. For your example, which would
Well, given what you were saying earlier about how you might pick it for a quarter or for a year, depending on the kind of activity you were looking for, what would be a more or the generic approach in
okay,
your
well,
mind?
I'd have maybe a range here then, which would control both the loading of this and the.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Predefined range would be the way to go.
Okay, so we should
You know,
put
you
this in
could
here.
pick like you could take today minus 2 months plus 2 months or
I'll
something.
let the user look them up. Give
Sure,
it.
I meant the default load.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, got you. Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe a quarter and do today minus 1 month and then plus 2 or something.
Yeah, I'll get you. put in just get them dates on there. And cool. Last but not least, let's put our date range picker on there. Put on that one, we will have it populating both dates for us. Yeah, okay, that'll do. So along the lines of no, I'll tell you what it'll want to be. It'll be wants to be called the date. It will be the month of today. Is that correct? So we'll want the start of this month.
Yes, because the number of days won't do it. Right.
Minus put ourselves in the this month. Yes, -1, the first, and the year of today.
Right.
Or the end date can equal the month of today plus 1. Do you know what I want to do? Plus 2. 1 year of today -1. That in the right place, that -1? No. -1. To give you the end. Is that correct?
Correct. The end of the previous, right.
I'll quickly check that. I think a lot of brackets there. I'm sure I got that right, Andy.
Always the case.
Yeah, well, month of today. That's correct. -1. I don't see anything wrong with that. Ah, yeah, there.
Right.
So that will want the month plus 2. Close that. -1 offset. Okay, so we've got 1st of Feb. I don't know. Can I do them dates right way around? Start date.
Well, it's using
Today.
it's just the format of the display, isn't it? It's using European
Yeah.
date month year. It looks right. February. Oh no, I see
the
what you
end.
mean.
Yeah. The end.
Yeah, the end one that's off. It's winding up to being February. You have today plus 2. That's
month
what
of today, so it's February.
Yes, but it's not month plus 2. It's today plus 2. All you do is increment today by 1, and we want to increment the month by 1. You want to move the paren. Month of today, close paren, plus 2.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I knew something was bugging me there. It's like, this is crazy. Right, so yes. So the month of today, thank you very much. So it's February, -1, January. That'll get you up to April 1st, -1 off it, 31st of March.
That should do it.
Brilliant. January 1st of March.
And hey presto.
Brilliant. Okay, so that's going to give us our loading. Let's get that one down at the bottom, loading off that, and the date picker as well. So what parameters do we have on our date picker for the loading? And I can't remember, to be honest. So there's no calendar where it's getting its data. In fact, we're not loading any. Yeah, we're not loading anything. All we really want to do here, very simple. Just quickly jump into it. We'll load these, and as we're loading each one of them, we'll affect the date picker accordingly.
Okay.
The only thing we would want to do is let's make this screen a little wider so we can at least see, hopefully, some more, like a quarter. That's kind of the example we're going for. Yep. We'll have a local procedure. Bit of an overkill, but we are going to call it in a couple of places. Oh, no. No, we don't even need to do that. We could do it right at the restart of the browse. Okay. So our browse class, that's really the driving force behind this. I'm going to have it file loaded. Only because we're not going to have that much. Lower limit, range that, sorry, that wants to be a range, wants to be our start and end. And in there now, what we would want to do, just trying to think where it would be, but we can look at that in a second. Ages. I don't really do much on these, I'll be honest with you. I'm just trying to think the best way in the Clarion browse. Take new record. That's only really when you set queue record. And put it after there. So we won't have date picker. We've got to do some clearing of colours. So we'll have to do some housekeeping in a minute. Add calc, no. This I will have to look up on the other screen to have a look at what the class methods are, because I can't remember. Clarion, there we go. Sorry about this. Just looking up the date picker now for the the colours.
That's fine.
Custom.
We know that you're doing
colors.
magic in the background.
Set custom colours date. Takes a pattern. That's right. So it is. The pattern, I can't remember what the pattern is, so I'm going to have a look what they are. Going to need my equates for that. Do you know what? I will actually bring these in so people can see what I'm doing. Although we have got, no, it's not that. That's not the pattern I was expecting. The other example where we've got some, yeah, that one. clear. We'll need that. Set custom date colors. Oh, we're using the English, the U. That's why. NYS Calendar Pro color. Date. There you go. The next release can have American spellings in it as well. There you go. I will after you, in fact. I'll update the history in a second, but we want that one.
I think we're seeing a lot of cool development here, that these examples being developed on the fly.
So we want, what do we want with that? We want the date, background color, foreground color. So for example, the date, obviously we know it's our table that we're currently going through. So I show a date. Then we will want the status, and that's where we'll want our pinch that case statement from above. It'd be nice to put this as a condition on the calendar, actually, on the date picker itself. With a none, I'm not going to do anything. With a pending, color. Do we have an orange? And what was it? Background and foreground. Yeah. Rejected can be red. And passed can be green. Okay. And just for OCD, I'll line them up.
We know our audience, don't we?
So let's take a look. And what have we got here now then? Oh. Right, so we need to reset that. So we've got some. We have got a rejected on the 14th. We've got a pending.
Beautiful.
So on. And we could have, say, for example, one on the 3rd of Feb was a past. So of course we need a after the refresh of that. So there's a tidy up to do. Definitely a tidy up to do, but yes, so that's where you would start seeing an array of colours to visually tell them straight away, okay, yeah, you've got some work to do. You've got 2 days here.
Right.
That kind of thing. Let's just do a bit of a tidy up on that. At the start, where's it free? It's Q. Can't actually remember. Oh, that's a bit naughty of me. Just noticed I put these on here and didn't reset the class name. That's what you get for rushing. And we need to tie. Oh no, we were doing it via the loading of that, so we won't have to do that. Yeah, I was looking for where it frees its queue. No, I think it's reset from view if memory serves. Anyone fair to correct me there? Hopefully it is.
No, I believe you're right.
Reset from view. I think
it was already loaded. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's there where I would clear custom colors. I know the methods there. So we'll clear them. The others will obviously go off and add them. But what we would want to do here is there is an ensure of visible. Ensure date visible, and we'll go at the start. Depending on their range, we can't do anything about that, but we can at
right.
least make sure that the first date is visible. So we would want to. So that will at least, that date change, the date range changes. Just want to make sure that we have actually got that in there. So yes, we've got a reset, as you would expect, and we've got January on show. It's cleared the colours, so something tells me. Okay, so we're getting the loading we require. Interesting. If I go here, we know we haven't got records there. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we're not getting the colours, so got the reset. Don't like it in the set queue record, which a bit surprised at, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, it's after. That's why.
What?
Wants an earlier embed point. Literally something like try that. Right at the start. We'll do our reset. Thank you. And then so on and so forth.
There we go.
Which I would hope then, if I put another date in, need to prime that up, do some tidy up, but it's only a very rough example for today. Pending on the 28th, that should reset, and that just wants to repaint. Yeah, I had to hover over it though. I'm just going to do that again. 21st can be rejected. Not go near that, and then I'll hover over. Yeah, and when I go into it, we're getting the repaint. So what I do want to do is, after all of that,
That's a good catch. I didn't even see that.
I'll put it right at the end because I don't know the Clarion one. Got a repaint tape picker, and this is every method. Every class has it. You've just got a redraw. In fact, it's not showing it, but a redraw will basically any of our OCX wrappers, even non-code jock, so on and so forth. It will basically get the command to the control to redraw itself. So the command bar will call its own internal stuff for command bars. The calendar will call its own internal stuff, and so on and so forth.
Right. I use that in the calendar.
Okay, so we've got that. And if I was to change this to just that week, and so on and so forth. So now not that. Hey, we don't need that today. Actually, I'll turn that off because that would be a bit misleading.
Oh, because we're not picking. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not really picking there, yeah. But that's a quick rough and ready example. But pictorially, you can see here, Fridays is obviously a transmission day. I didn't even realise that. Fridays is an activity day, and you've got two which still need work and one which is pending authorization, that kind of thing.
Right.
But the point being, if I was no camera, I've got my hand over the top half of the screen. But if you didn't see any of this and you just had that, it would be quite easy to miss certain dates or not miss a status and so on and so forth. Yeah. Whereas visually, I see straight away I'm in some work.
Right. And that is exactly what I think the value of being able to visualize it on a calendar layout, that's what accomplishes that for, I mean, most people. You would see things that you wouldn't see in a list.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. I will. With now we were talking about bolding, weren't we, as well?
Well, we were. I think that got off the ground simply because of seeing it in the CodeJock methods
Mm-hmm.
that they had. What was it? Set bold on event days or something of that nature.
That's right. Yeah.
Set event days bold or something, and so that had made me wonder whether there were other methods that might be available to similarly affect the dates. I mean, this is a very expanded functionality, obviously, but it was only because seeing the CodeJock method already built in that I was thinking, oh, well, can we piggyback on that?
That's right. So I did a. Where did I go? I see. I've got my note here. Actually,
Oh, yes, you were
no,
going to chase that down a little bit and said since they've already interrogated the activity that
I had
there
my
would be
note.
some way to reuse it.
Yeah, I had the note. So it was bold. Let's just remind ourselves. It's on here. Calendar. Now I said it'd be under the paint manager, so it was under the date picker from memory. Day metrics. No, that's just a straightforward day metrics.
Oh, I think that's where you started, though, if memory serves. And then from there, you went someplace, but maybe not.
We would have that. We would go to the paint manager, put on face, bold, day back color. No, oh, it was to do with that's right. We were going to have an option where you could turn on the painting of each day. So basically the bold, if you remember, because basically we have got. Let's just jump back one. We do have bold on bold days on
Bold days with
idle.
events
Yeah, bold.
was
So
the one that was
yeah.
in the example.
Now that will bolden for you, but as we know, I'll just move that to one side and quickly get back to it. As we know, depending on the colour theme, it can be,
It doesn't show very well.
not that one. It would have to. Yeah,
Right.
no, I don't
So
even know that.
depending on the theme,
Oh,
the
yeah,
fact that
they
those
have
3
got
days
no.
are bolded might not stand out very much. Nothing like what we were just doing.
No, definitely not. So we were saying, could we interrogate at that level and change the particular bold?
Right.
Okay.
And make it something, or even put a back color on it or whatever.
Okay. So what we will do there then.
Or maybe just change the color of the font to red or something.
So simple calendar. I'm going to copy that, and it will be date picker bold
Plus.
color. Yeah, something like that. Let's get that on. I'll put it just on. Put it on here for now. Fine. No, keep it on there.
And now we've got 2 even rows.
Yep. Bold days color. Something like that. That will do for now. We have just created, we copied it. And we'll sort it in a second, that. I think it really works because it's a calendar what drives the content on the day, if you will.
Right.
So there's that. There's our bold, 17, 18, 19, as we can see, per
Right.
activity. So now we're going to do it manually, and then I might actually enhance these, create new methods for it, and so on. So we've got that turned on. Great. We would then want, and I think we said we'd go via the paint manager. So date picker. Let's jump via their help. Date picker paint manager. I think there was a method to start with actually, which we needed to be turned on. So it would be under the day picker, it would be one of the events, day metrics. That was the one. So you would have to turn that on first. Occurs. So there's going to be a property to do with the day metrics. Nope, not seeing what I want. Go back to date picker. Ask, that's the one. Specifies whether to fire the day metric event, which is the event that we're going to need down there. Okay, so basically what I will do is I will just, to prove the theory, make sure we've got it, I'll explain what we're doing. Now this, we get our hands a little dirty here by listening to dedicated events and so on. This kind of knowledge is what you can use for all of the products. With our bold. There, that one. So to start with, I will go to the date picker and I'll ask it to listen for that event. Now we know it's not going to occur, but it's going to listen for it. Go to our date picker. We will have event. There's one thing. Right, okay. Normally I would say listen to it. So that if you listened for it, that would occur there. Okay. And it would get that particular event name, which ordinarily would be fine. We're going to have to go one. Well, actually, let's just show that happening. So I will say if param event equals that the message. We won't get any activity from this because we won't turn the property on. So we'll go to that. Oh, wrong one. And oh, okay, we are getting that. I thought that thing was turned off by default. I could have swore.
Doesn't it have to be on in order for the bolding to actually occur?
Yep,
So it's going to fire all the time, won't it?
No, I thought the default was off. I will check. Where's the ask property? Ask. Default is off. Default is false.
Specifies whether to fire the event is off by default. But if you have the bold events, then wouldn't that
must
override that?
I don't think we turn it on by the class. I will take a quick look.
But by the fact that the set, whatever it's called there, set bold, wouldn't that require that the
not necessarily
get fired?
I know what you mean, but some of them can be pure user events to us, and they still handle the internal events themselves regardless of the setting. If that makes sense. Yeah. So, but
is that perhaps why the redraw in the calendar? Remember my old issue there that even without firing redraw, it actually does it
still
anyway.
Do it, yeah.
That's probably due to that kind of internal thing. Remember how you were saying you don't redraw, you just wait until you've got it everything and then redraw.
And then redraw, yeah.
It does it every time, even whether you ask for it or not. I'm guessing that's an internal thing.
Yeah, I can't remember what the answer was on that, but we did actually do some digging But to be honest, I can't remember what I found.
Right. Well,
It was a
when
while
we
ago
dug
now.
into it, what we discovered is that regardless of whether you request the redraw or not, it actually is doing it.
It's still
Because when
doing
we
it, yeah.
pause, yeah, and I'm guessing that maybe that's related to what you just described, that it handles internal things regardless of whether you are requesting them or turning them on or off, at least for some things.
Yes, definitely for some. Yeah, so it's on by default there. So it must be because they've got the bold. So that's why we're getting that. That's okay.
Right.
That's fine.
But
Now,
that means it's already doing it. We don't need to, right?
that's right. Yeah.
If the bold is turned on, then it's already done something for us that we don't need to do. We can just add on top of it, perhaps.
Well, what I'm just going to do, just to prove, is I'm going to set that property. So we're going to set that to, there you go. So we'll set it and then we'll just check it's off. And that means we shouldn't get the event. Of course, we want the event, but just want
Right,
to,
but you want to confirm how we can control it.
yeah, so it's off. Now we won't get it.
Okay.
And of course, we are navigating around, so on and so forth. And I bet if we navigate back to there. Oh, you see, we're still getting the bolding, but it's turned off.
Right.
So, and it's not our code was turning it on because I just did a search. We are turning it on. Of course I'm turning it on because they allow for custom colors. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I do turn it on because they allow
Like
for
all
custom
of us,
colors.
Andy.
And that's how the custom colors actually get applied. So of course I turn it on. So yeah, it's doing it's doing exactly what we want. I have to have it leave it turned on because in the template and manually, just like we did in our example a minute ago, we said, oh, we want a custom color, and we're applying those colors basically through that trigger. Okay, so we will have it turned on, but in our example, I will explicitly, just to so people understand, I will explicitly have it turned on. So the init complete, can't see if looking, there we go. Init complete. Course, and I'll just turn that. So we'll set that to true, even though we know by default, but future template changes and so on.
But
So
it definitely helps people to know exactly what
we're doing.
Yeah.
So we can say, so force that. So we can use, so we can map the name of the event that we want to listen for is back to our documents. Our documentation is the day metric event. Okay, now we would normally listen for that event there. If you wanted to listen to an event, you go to the extension, you would go to the events, tell it the one you want to listen for, and put the code in accordingly in their event. But it's not going to be good enough for this example. We're going to have to go one level deeper or higher depending on how you want to work it. And the reason for that is because if we was to look at, might be easier in that example, we was to look at that event, it gives us some properties back, the day and the metrics object, which is what we need to get to. So we're going to have to also go in at that level and do some code. We can do it by the template. Okay, so I'm going to take that one out. It's kind of actually I'll just grab that. So take that out, and I'm not going to bother listening because we just don't need it. We don't need the template to tell us we're going to do it manually. So instead of that, we've got an event, and then we have got the raw event func, which gets these particular parameters. Now the class uses this does plenty of stuff, but it gives you the opportunity to also do the exact same stuff. So we're going to manually handle the metrics event. That's exactly what we're after. Now I'm guessing if I go into my class, I might have some code which will help us just jump a little. Here we go.
Look at that.
And that's why we would have had it turned on. So we've got this embed point here, event func, and that's the parameters. There's a raw class. This will be executing before you get your hands on it. Okay, and this is where it's going off, looking at particular dates, looking at patterns, and so on and so forth. So we're going to want something like this. So we want to have that. We can just do that if, and they're the parameters which are coming off this embed point. So we're fine. We've got a method to get us our name. So we're going to check just for that one. And that's where we're going to put our code. Now we need to know if that particular day is bold. So if it's bold already. So what I'm thinking here is the first parameter that the OCX passes you back, according to them, is the date. The second is the day metrics object. Okay. So we're going to want, we're going to get our hands dirty a little here. Definitely get our hands dirty. That'll be day metrics object. Yeah, object. I normally have them with C string 20, something like that. It's not, but I've just used that for such a long time now. So if that's the case, I'm going to want to say, okay, that equals, and perhaps we'll pinch our code. Second parameter. So we're going to get an OCX parameter. I'm not going to call the count date. That will get us our object. We'll make sure we have got the actual object back. So if the first character of it is that, then you've got an object. And then we can start interrogating properties of that. You with it so far?
Yes, but there's no way that I could possibly recreate. I can follow.
Okay, so basically we know, just to recap, we've got this event now triggering for every time if I just run this, for every single one of these, we've got an event triggering in the OCX. Now we're going to get that event, and for every time each one of these triggers, it's going to give us two parameters. The first parameter is the date. The second parameter is what we call a metrics object, and the metrics is everything to do with that one date being displayed there. Okay, so right. I'm going to, just for example, let's have a look at our day metrics object. What members does it have? And it has a background, a font, a foreground color. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm just going to change the background color. So I'm going to say, okay, if that, just for a test, I'm going to do self.set property. I'm going to set a raw property in the command. We know that's our raw object that we want to work with. And we want to set a property, and it's a back color. I'm going to set it to color red. So we've got this object. Hopefully we've got to test this in a second, but the second parameter should be the object for the day that we're on. We are going to check we've got an object, and if we have, we're going to do some conditions on it in a second, but we're going to say just change its background color to red.
Now, when you say if we're getting the object, at that point, what we're getting is the object because there is actually an object to be retrieved, meaning there was a day event loaded into the calendar.
Not a day event loaded, a day being displayed here.
Oh, well, in other words, so in that case, are you saying that we're at this point, we're simply testing that this works, in which case all those dates, every date will come up red?
Every single one, ranging from
Every single, okay, all right,
27th
great.
of January all the way to the 10th
Got
of
it.
May.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's what it looked like, and I said I can't be right. He must be. No. Okay.
No,
So
no.
exactly.
Just
All
want
right.
to
So we're just testing that we can
prove.
turn it on regardless of activity.
Yeah. Just want to see that we have got the object and we can manipulate the
And
content. Okay.
now isn't that interesting though? So it does turn it on, and then it gets
It's
overridden
overriding with its own bold. That's going to be
and not bold. It's it's selected area.
Oh, it's selected. Yeah. That must be another activity which is going on then.
Right.
Okay. Which one's taking priority then? How about if we bump ours? Make sure we really are, although I think we are. By that, don't think that'll help us. I think we're post the parent call. So I don't think this is going to help us. Yeah, no, it wouldn't. If I choose that.
Right.
Yeah, so
So
it's
the
not
bolding
really.
works. It's the selecting automatically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So there might be another property on it. But that's
still very
we've
cool.
gone to each one of these objects and we've manipulated the background color of it. So we could, the thing we had a second ago, we could actually show our activity live here if we wanted to, you know. So there's different
You mean the pending thing you said?
yeah,
with the
pending and so on and so
right,
forth.
right.
We could actually, I'd probably put them in a queue rather than hitting the table during the painting. But
Right.
you could interrogate that and put them into here. So far so good. So we know we've got our handle. We know we can manipulate it. And what I was going to say
Now we
is,
want to put conditions on it.
oh yes. So now I want to get a property of that. So I'm thinking something along the lines of if, and I will do the absolute because some parts of it will return -1 for true. Some parts will return +1 for true. So if I do the absolute of a get property, we want that, but we don't want that. I want the font object. So we've got back, got for, you got the picture, and we've got a font, and that's a standard font. So that would be font, font.bold. And I want to know if that property, if the absolute of that equals true, then set it to red.
We'll set it to red.
So we know they're going to go, but if I navigate elsewhere, we can see, oh, I've loaded different dates. That data's going then. Well, I'm clearing the data, you see. So, and it's catching up. So it's doing exactly what it should do, in fairness. But I've got it only loading. So I'll change the loading mechanism. So currently it's told to load just the minimum amount of data, the 13th to the 14th. I'm going to tell it to range.
I see what you mean. You're not ranging the whole calendar display. You're just ranging the selected area.
Exactly. But to switch that, nice and simple. You just say the calendar. It's linked, and the loading. No, it's not that one. Sorry, the date picker. The date picker load parameters wants to be the current selected
Currently
date,
selected
or
date,
it wants to be the visible date range. That will pass it. So it's a bigger load, but it's less frequent.
Of course.
So now when I go onto that, I'll be loading that entire, so I'll get more bolds depending on where my data is and so on and so forth. But then you will see those remaining.
It didn't do it on the first display, did it?
I was on that date. That's why. Let me just go back in. Yeah, I'm on that date. That's why you're not seeing it. You're seeing it there, some activity there, but there's this active selection which is also going on. Which we saw wiping itself a minute ago.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So the part good news, we can see, is it bold? Paint it accordingly. Great. But if I'm on there, then you're not going to see it in the red.
Because the selection overrides it.
Yeah, which is quite quite an annoyance. I wonder if
What if we change the font? Oh, can we do that?
I was going
The
to do
font
the
color?
well, you got four color. You can do that,
Right,
but
right.
this the active selection looks like it's going to override us on that.
Oh, true. Right. I see what you
Yeah,
mean. It wouldn't matter what we did here.
yeah. So I'm just going to try one particular thing though. I'm going to see if it will do the font size. I'm going to change that to 16.
Oh, cool.
Don't know if that'll work.
Won't that mess up the? Yeah, I wonder if it's not going to let you do that.
Whoa. So
It lets you do
does
it. It's
something.
not great.
Well, it's a standard font object, so I would expect it to let us manipulate them. You get what you pay for, so to
You
speak.
get
So you
what you
get it.
want, right?
Yeah.
Be careful what you ask for, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you wouldn't really do that. So it's that active selection, which we could do with turning off. Do we have an option in our date picker already? And if we do, it might be highlight today, allow non-continuous, auto size, multi-select, appearance, 3D, show the today, show dates. Yes, we know that. No, so we're not seeing anything there. So let's go back to how we started with this. We'll go date picker. And do we have any other properties to turn off basically the selection, if you will? Auto size, bold days, milliseconds. So we can, there's a little lag, but we can fine tune that. Some count.
Multi-selection mode.
No, that's so you can continue. You can select A instead of hold down control, and it just does that the equivalent of holding down control for you automatically.
Right. The selection retrieves the data information. Raise them.
No, that's just a method call.
Okay.
No, so it's not under there. If anything, then it's going to be. It should have its own paint manager, and it would come under the paint manager properties. Got the visual theme. Okay, so it's not under that. Get in. Didn't know we had that. Very nice. And
Well, the select range says the function will highlight the dates in a given range. So it would seem that that's the repaint.
no, not that. Okay, must be a date. Must be the paint manager then, which is always the go-to thing. So there's our paint manager, our date picker. Paint manager. What have we got in here? Selected day text color, selected day back color. I'm kind of looking for a property which will turn that off, if you will. So say, for example, what it's got here. Yeah, there's nothing there to really help us. We wouldn't put it in the event funk, it'd be more like in here. I'll just temporarily put it in there. So something like that. So we have got, just like you've got a set property, we've got a set paint manager property, which just saves you some laborious typing. Yeah, so there's that. So we have got some stuff kicking in. So it looks like it's just the background color. We can manipulate that. So I wonder if we could just instead of the size, manipulate the fore color. We're not going to get what we want out of this, I don't think, I'll be honest, but we might get, it might just help ourselves a little. No, I like the size. Doesn't mind that. Got our selection. The selection is overriding any manually
Yes.
coloured themes and manually coloured theme settings. So that's basically that's taking the priority. Bit of a shame that really. Looking to see if there's a property to just turn that off.
Turn off what?
The actual
selection?
highlighting, yeah. The highlighting.
Well, there was and right in there. Okay, so on set. Sorry, go back up. The select range.
Set range?
Select range.
No, that you see that is a method, so that's going to go and do an action.
Right, but what I mean is, underneath in that it says that this will highlight the dates in a given range. So when it goes to do that function is where it's redoing the paint, right?
Yeah, via the day metrics.
So that's when it goes to do that is where you'd want to override it.
Yeah, that's not quite how it works. So what you'd really want to do is just turn off that painting in the first place. So it's more like a property.
So that it can't override it.
Yeah, so then it won't override we're already overriding the day. What it's doing then is overriding our override. Bit of overkill, but that's technically what's going on.
Okay.
So I'll pull this down now. This day, physical days.
Because the way the current selection works, that bold days with events remains, but ours doesn't. In other words, whether you select that range or not, the bold is correctly turned on.
Yeah, because of the bold with days, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, so even if you're going to where you still get to see the bold. Can hardly read them.
So it's doing what we would want to do, right?
Yeah, agreed.
We'd want to keep it in red. When it does the bold, after it does the selection of the range, it's still going to bold the days with events, regardless if it's in the range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically, what we've got, as you can see, let's take the third and the fourth as an example. That is going off the basic theme color settings and it's applying them accordingly. So there's no overrides. Perfect.
Right.
The 16th, that's got an override because that is bold. We're interrogating it's bold and we're setting the fore color to red. So the 17th is exactly the same as the 16th, but the only exception is the 17th is this here.
Within the selected range.
Yeah, within the selected range. And it's that which is then, it's that which is overriding our override. So that's having the final say. And I'm not sure we'll be able to, unless we can find a setting to turn that off, I don't think we'll be able to.
I understand what you're saying, and obviously you're much more at the insides here, but my only observation was that after it does the selection, and in this case, it does it with the back paint of green, it then continues to apply the bold.
The bold, yeah.
So it's doing that after it's painted the selection range.
Agreed.
Whereas we're doing the font color before it does the selected range, and then it applies the selected range, and then it does the bold days with events.
Yeah, what we would love to do is, like in a Clarion point of view, change the priority and say, no, do ours last. But
yes,
there's no event for that. That's what I was looking at here. We've got the event, the day metrics. That's where we're applying our changes. To do with the keys and so on and so forth. That's your lot. And you've got that. The selection's changed. but that's only really going to tell you that something's changed. It's not to do with the painting of it.
Right.
Oh, date picker selection object. Didn't see that. What's that? No, that's just an individual block. And that's just going to tell you. So what that is if I highlight 9 and 10, and then I highlight 26, 27, that's one block. That's another block. That's another block. That's another block. So your calendar's visually showing what you need. Just these selected ones, and that's the non-continuous blocks. You can turn that on and off, so you can either you can stop these from having that facility. So you've got that power, but that's only really that object is only going to come back and tell you what the block number is, or the start and end of that particular dates for each block.
Right.
What we really want, but we're just not seeing it, is the selected, like I say, the selected range color, just like we've got other colors. That's what we'd like, but it's just not there, and we don't get and there's the setting to say whether you allow non-continuous or not. But what we're not seeing is the actual the paint properties for the selected block, which is a bit of a shame, really. So on this one, I think we're going to probably taking it as far as we can. Yeah, I'm not seeing how we can change that. All you could really do, it's not even changing the full colour, it is overriding it with the selection.
Right.
Let's have one more look at that date picker paint. I like today, no. No, bit of a shame, but that's it's not going to give it us.
Right.
Sorry about that. But there are other ways. I mean, I was going to say, because if we didn't have that attached, you want them attached because as you move this, you want your calendar to navigate accordingly. And as the user navigates the calendar, maybe by the keyboard, you want your date picker to reflect accordingly.
Right.
So you do want them linked, but there's something to be said here. Okay, so we've got this selected range in a different color, which is quite glaring. At that moment in time, I'm looking at the 11th to the 14th.
Right.
And of course, I can't see any appointments on there and so on. And if they were further down in the day, it would show you. It gives you a little arrow to point there's some down on that day.
Correct.
But you have also still got the colorings here of others. So I can blatantly see there's activity there, much better than the bold. So
Yes.
to come back to the original, it's not perfect by any means.
It's much better. No, this gets us
Yeah.
a great distance towards it. And actually, you know what? Let's try one thing, and then I suppose we have to wrap up. We've been doing it all just on this one thing, but it's great. If the back color instead of green, let's say that was transparent.
Oh, I see where you're going. Yep. Okay. Let's try that.
So that when
Don't
you
know if it recognizes
reselect,
the -1.
when you reselect, the bold would stay and jump out more. Oh, that okay.
No, kind
So
of that's where you
transparent
were.
doesn't really do what we want it to, actually.
No, it's the color -1, which is color none.
Yes.
Really just stops it from applying a color, if you will.
In which case, what is it doing? It's defaulting to
Whatever the color theme settings are, because of course we're using Office 2010 here, but we could we copied the theme files in earlier. Of course, we could be in Office. Well, yeah, that's a good idea.
white.
Yeah. Word should have a hint of blue on it for memory serves. Okay, so you're going to get that. It's highlighting 17th today. So this is a theme setting here, which is highlighting what today's date is.
Right.
Okay. I've highlighted 13, 3 and 4, but in fairness, that's really faint. So you would want to change your highlight colour. That green probably would want to come back into play there. And then you've still got the things.
But if you highlight 17 to 20 now,
yeah,
the red goes away.
The red goes away.
You can't even see the bold anymore.
No, and these are controlled. Now you might be able to edit the theme after all this. What we've not done is actually talked about editing the actual raw theme file, but that's a whole lesson in its own right.
Yeah, well, we're not
Not something
that.
we really do too often, but you could open up. Never really done it actually. Not for a while. No, it's not under there. But with the new ones, the latest versions since the 18th, you get your samples, you get your styles. They are the Office 2013, Office 2016 DLLs, but the actual content, the raw content of them are here. So you could rebuild that DLL.
Oh.
If you wanted to. But you would you get your hands dirty in it, I'll be honest.
I'll leave that to someone like Dave, I think.
Yeah, with a XAML. But I mean, there will be. There's the ribbon.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, just looking for the word dark grey. We chose just word, didn't we? Okay, so in here, you would probably have. Yeah, okay. So we've got our selection.
Wow.
Date picker. Yeah, so date picker. Background. Oh, 1 second. Oh, right, okay. 1 second. Who's it for? Right, okay, 1 second. Won't be a second. I've just got to go and sign for a parcel. Sorry about that. We're still here. Yeah, sorry about
Waiting with bated breath.
that. So it would be one of these. Yeah, probably this. Now they look like RGB colours, and then it's how you take that and rebuild it. And from memory, I'm not going to do this at the moment, but it should be under your bin. No, it might be under utils. Skin builder. I wonder if we could open that up and load it from there. Yeah, that'll do. Open. We were playing about with this one, weren't we? All files. Word. Hmm.
Do you have to go to calendar in the tab?
Where are you looking, sorry? You normally get all the different in the DLLs. What you used to have was the separate sections, and in the sections there would be called any names within each section. Yeah, that just looks like a normal one. Just to check if it does change, I'll open a similar one, but I'll open, say, Excel, which should show up in green. Yeah, it's just not taking any effect. So nothing. Besides which, all these would then be open, you see.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a shame. It's looking for the skin project. Maybe it's not a skin builder you use for it then. I'd have to do some reading up on how you actually reapply these. Markup pad, they're just standard markups. That's not them. That is for your different languages. Yeah, the resource is for your actual different languages. So if we was to open one of these, yeah, it's just wanting the actual XML. That's why if you had a particular language translation and you thought that's not quite right, you would go into there and that would rebuild your DLLs, your language DLLs.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to have to be a question to CodeShop themselves to say how do we rebuild. We have touched on it in the past, to be honest, but to be fair, I can't remember what it was. Resource. Didn't see anything to open the resource a second ago. That looks like it's the output anyway. To give you the thought, there's got to be something that we can use.
It would seem like there would be a way to take the selected range and manipulate it somehow.
And then play it and then change it to your accordingly. So you're coming away
Yeah.
technically from the official build, but if it's as per your requirements, then that's perfectly fine.
And they give you everything else.
No, sorry. I don't think we're going to get it.
But we've got quite a distance, though.
We got close but no cigar, but we've got close. So to recap then, let's just quickly, we'll switch back to the blue one so we could blatantly see more of what we wanted. Mm-hmm. So the 2010 blue, that's good. And what I will just do is put on here we did that. We'll show red's got activity on it if it's bold.
Oh, that's good.
So that's good. And just from an example point of view, force.
Oh yeah, no, that's good from the example aspect. People see what you can do with it.
Yeah, so we are going to set that to green. We're going to manually handle that. Yeah, to show it in red. It would be nice if we, like our priorities, we painted ours over theirs, but unfortunately we're not getting that.
But the reach must exceed the grasp, huh?
But it's still progress in that we have got, okay, we can now see there's activity there. We're not on it. We can see there's activity on this, and there it is. If we were in this mode here, then we would still have those.
Right.
If we was there, then you don't get to see that in red, but you do get to see the activity. So it's a fair trade-off. The user,
I think I agree,
will be able to accept. They can see activities just looking in two places, which this would be the natural. So it's not perfect.
But it's exactly the right direction. We couldn't deliver on all of the control of it that we would like, but it does fully demonstrate and gives, I would say, gives 80% of what we were after. Maybe more. 90.
Yeah, agreed. A good chunk. Definitely. I mean, I'll probably actually turn some of those properties on in schedule it. To be honest, so I'll probably put some in here. Because what colour theme am I using? I'm thinking it might be 2013, 2016. I can't actually remember. But if I go and have a quick look. Now, I'm not sure what data I've got in here. Actually, probably not the best. Oh, yeah, there is some there. So I think I'll change some of this loading, and I too will probably put these in red or a different colour.
Right.
And so on. Yeah. Okie dokie. Right.
This is fabulous. Longer than I think you anticipated spending, but
that's fine. That's no problem. We come through and we updated this, so when I do the next calendar build, I will these will be included, and that's a worthwhile example to show people as well.
Yeah. So you're anticipating getting to that within a week or so? That's great.
Yeah. Well, that schedule which I mentioned a minute ago, it's in beta on customer sites, and some of the feedback is, like the date of birth and so on and so forth. That's going to stop them really starting to bring their patients across and so on. So there's fine tunes going in all the time. So it doesn't have to be a major build to the calendar. It can just be a little incremental one with giving us the extra date lookups and so on. So this will go in. But if you need this example up beforehand, I can just zip it and send it to you at the end of the day.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, that would be nice. And then when you get those year date lookups in there, it'll be.
They will be in this week because they've got to go through testing for right. So they'll be in this week.
Well, that's great.
Okay, that's cool.
Excellent. Thank you, Andy.
No problem.
It was fun.
It was, yeah. I like things like that. We got something out of it for everybody, so yeah, that's good. Now I think Alejandro's been waiting quite patiently, and he's got his hand up. So let's get the microphone open. Alejandro.
Hello, Andy.
Hi, how are you doing?
Very well, very well. I want to show you something for the other people. Maybe it can help you.
Okay. Let me make presenter. So you. Oh no, sorry, no, wrong one. Let me make. There you go. I did it the wrong way. That one.
Yes. Are you seeing my screen?
Yep. Clavier
yes, we are.
11.
Okay, fine. If you see here in the docking pane, for example, if we float this or undock these rows, the arrow appear here, okay?
That's right, yep.
Okay. Did you remember I showed you that it's doesn't work fine?
There was something I do remember.
Okay,
but
I will
I
show
can't
you.
remember, I'll be
Don't
honest.
worry. If you select a language resource, for example, this one, look the behavior. Again, rows. The arrow doesn't appear.
Wow.
Okay?
Is that linked to any
Yes.
particular resource, or
Sorry?
is that just like you chose one particular resource? Is it linked to any other resource?
Really, I only test. I only test with Spanish. We can test with other. Let me check. Maybe English.
Did that change?
No, not yet. I'm testing. Okay. So really, it took me a lot of hours, but the most important is find the problem.
Also, take it off custom skin and put it on an actual skin, a predefined skin.
No, the skin is not the problem. I make a different test with the skin, without, no. No. Any language, or at the least this doesn't work. But let's go to tests that you say. You say without?
I would choose, I don't know, default.
Default. Okay. No.
Oh. Okay. And in the properties, I'm just wondering.
Sorry?
I was just looking at the properties here to see if you need to manually turn it back on. 1 second.
Yes.
Okay, so draw single tab, no, draw captions.
Do you want I change the screen to you?
Yeah, let's just try it here. Similar type test. Okay. So we'll just close that one. Try that one. Not sure that will do, but we'll try this one.
Okay. Are you ready for the JDC 2020?
Getting there. When do you fly across?
26 March 26, but I arrive in 29 March.
Oh wow!
Yes, I have to leave from my city 26. I have 3 days to arrive to Cape Town.
Crikey. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so we're seeing that work. Now let's just
Mhm.
try it with the language, as you said. Docking pane 19.1. Oh. We wanted a language, did we not? I'll try Spanish, like you said, and I'll try German.
This. Ah,
Well, even English didn't work, right?
That's right, yeah.
Any language resource messed it up.
Hmm. So, is there anything we can do to turn that on, turn it off? Docking pane. Okay, just an idea. Not sure it'll work. Hmm. Sorry, wrong one.
it's okay.
I don't know what my settings are. Just have to. 580 bottom. Okay. Yeah, go like that. just want to get the button on there. I'm going to see about just maybe reapplying the theme. Brilliant.
Why do you think that is the theme?
It's the theme what controls if they show them and so on and don't show. No. Okay. What's the? It should be. No. Okay. I'm going to switch the actual theme then. I'm not seeing a change in theme there actually. So many themes. Lose track of them.
When you fly to Cape Town?
When what? Sorry.
When you fly to Cape Town?
I think that's around the same time. Around about that time. 24th, 25th, I think.
Okay, good.
That's not reloading the theme. Bit surprised at that. When was that? Apply the source. Do that. Apply that. Try 13. Try switching the file. Okay, definitely enough. That should work. That should load a different file. I'm wondering whether the actual OCX object in the class is still active. Although it should, of course, it must do, because we do exactly the same in the command bars where you switch the theme. I don't know why that's not repainting. I would expect that to, yeah, I expect that to work. That's the arrows are showing there because we've. Let me repaint that. Screwed that one up a little. Move all these. Can't even see my button now. Ask if there's no finger. Right. Don't know why that theme's not reloading. I think we'll look at that first and have a look if that will help the loading of the resource. What's the tip there? Auto hide. What about if we tried the other way? Just an idea. Do need to finish in a second. Where's that language file? Oh, no, it's alright. I just thought of one thing. Yeah, I forgot to tick that on the button. Right, now we've got the theme. See, it's changed to green. That's good.
Yes.
It's not made it. It's not helped. Okay, but at least, yeah, it wasn't action in the button. Okay, so the other test, what I was thinking then is, so that's English, that's Spanish. No, that needs to be reported to CodeJock because your theme would just do you in one command, which is load a language file.
Yes. Yes, I think that is the Kojak problem.
Yeah. I
So,
wonder if we then.
report this and report the solution or the workaround for now.
Okay, auto hide, and it's there. Set to 1. Not there. Okay, shouldn't really use a variable like that anyway, so okay. Is it linked purely to the resource? So English, arrows, Spanish, no arrows, English, arrows. Yeah, so it's definitely down to the language resource.
Yes.
Yeah, that would need to be reported. Is that just a 19.1 version, or it's not necessarily to do with themes? I don't think it's linked to the themes after all that.
I tested in 18.6.
Okay.
0.
Was it still not right?
Sorry?
Did it still fail? Did it still fail then?
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect us to get the themes. Ah, 16.4
Works.
works, but we haven't got the theme loaded. Okay, let me just change the theme. Let's just rule out that theme. So I'm just going to go with one of the built-in themes. Okay, something like Office 2003. That's built in. Themes. Yep. Language. Spanish. Arrows. English. Arrows. So 16.4. That's fine.
Works fine.
Same test, 19.1. But no external theme, just same test.
Yes.
Works fine. And it's English, Spanish, disappears. Back to English. Works. Right, it's that needs to be reported. It's purely, we'd have to see what version it changed, but back in 16.4.0 it did work.
Excellent. Okay. I will try to use that and check if everything is fine.
Cool. Okay, right, we should really wrap it up. We are 2.5 hours. That's good for a webinar.
Yeah. Nice webinar today. Really.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, we covered some nice things for the calendar. That's good. So until next week, guys, I shall see you all then.
Thank you, Andy. It's a
No
pleasure.
problem. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Cheers.
See you.
Thank you, Andy.
Cheers.